twisted streets, whispers from the ocean deep, malice hums in ancient beats, dreams of cosmic secrets creep. Under ultra skies we wander, lost in voids of endless night. Sanity begins to sunder, truths that twist and warp our sight.
Away. It appears we have once again dove down through the black abyss, in the lair of the deep Andy. You have decided to dwell on that wondering glory forever. Or in other words, welcome to Lurkers in the Lobby,
where we go through the best, worst, and more interesting bits of media based on the works of H.P. Lovecraft. This week we have two men with me. As usual, it's the squiddy one himself.
It's me.
Yes.
It's Andy, I think.
It is, and you're squiddy.
I wasn't sure if I was the squiddy one or if someone else was the squiddy one.
But no, it's up to you because you're the usual co-host for this.
Oh man, I'm squiddy.
You're squiddy.
I've got bits going everywhere.
You've got hairy tentacles, son. You've got hairy tentacles sticking out.
They're the best because they can tickle. You know, someone thinks it's a dog's tail. It's not a dog's tail. I'm the lady's choice. Tentacle Andy.
Coming soon to Asda for $2.99.
Wow.
Tentacle Dandy. And with him, it is the great one himself, the deep, dark one. It's...
I smell a fish. I don't know why.
Do you have unblinking eyes?
My eyes blink sideways.
That's nothing to do with Lovecraft and more to do with... let's moving on. Yes. So this week we are here to talk and watch Dagon from 2001. And as usual, before we get started on the film, I have questions. Questions for my co-hosts. And we'll start with Jai. Jai, I would like to know your limits, your knowledge of Lovecraft, where you first came across the works, how you survived the effect, and your basic thoughts on the works of H.P. Lovecraft, if you please.
I first came across it while I was at university, because my main buddy in the course I was doing lived with a bunch of other students who were also his friends, and every now and again we'd go over into his stay overnight, for either just for crapping around or for studying or whatever it was. And one of the guys he lived with, the Graham, who's this big, not big as in chunky guy, but he's got a big beardy fellow, and he knows a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff. The esoteric stuff, and he had a quite large book collection, and one of them being one of the kind of collected works of H.P. Lovecraft. And I just kind of, for some reason, I was drawn to it. I heard this. I heard this. There was Wells. This infernal chanting and this unholy ringing, and I was drawn to the book, and I picked it up, and I read it. And I was reading it, and then every now and again, when I would go back and I'd read more and more. And there's one night I was reading, I can't remember what it was now, it might have been Call of Cthulhu, possibly. Yeah, I was lying on the floor in this new place, because they'd moved house, but I was in a room where there was practically no furnishings, bar some random crap. And I was lying on the floor, with a quilt over me, reading one of these stories, maybe Call of Cthulhu, and the book was describing to me the look of a particular stone edifice, the roughly hewn, this infernal, arcane, blasphemous creature that defied geometry. And something said to me, just turn around, just turn around, just look to the right. Go on, just look to the right. And I turned to the right, and there was a chair, and underneath the chair was the statue, staring at me. Whoa. So I didn't survive. I did. No. What was the other questions?
Just your thoughts on the works of Lovecraft.
Bibble?
And that. But for you to tell you, I do want to point out. So far, we had Paul on last week. And Paul and me, we have read H.P. Lovecraft. Andy is being introduced to H.P. Lovecraft. You apparently have lived H.P. Lovecraft. The book of cold here. You magically found a freaking idol.
Yeah.
Spent
Kind of,
time at the asylums recently? Yeah.
There was a school for the touched just around the corner from me.
The CGI.
Randall Carter School for those touched by Lovecraft. Yeah, so with I love that. I love the idea that instead of reading H.P. Lovecraft, you've lived it. Anyhow, so yeah, your thoughts on H.P. Lovecraft, the works of.
Well, I've not read all of it. I've got a couple of the collected works, the different volumes, and I've sampled some of his kind of horror, kind of Cthulhu mythos type stuff, along with his more generic kind of sci-fi horror stuff. It's very much an acquired taste. Clearly, some of this stuff's a bit dry. It's kind of hard to describe. I'm guessing it's just because, let's be honest, as far as I'm being led to believe, I'm not a hugely well-read guy, but he's not a fantastic writer.
Well, no.
Literally, he's not a great writer. But the ideas that he has, the mythos that he created, or at least started, other people could have chimed in their own thoughts and ideas. But just the ideas that he's had, the thing that he kicked off, really kind of a call to me.
Yeah.
So he's just
Ever since I saw the book, the voice won't go away.
I just heard this beating sound. There's a boop, 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 boop. At first, I thought it was a guy next door playing music loudly with the speakers up against the wall. Because I was trying to hear where the noise is coming from. I'm walking around the room trying to listen for it. It's getting louder and louder, so I can try and suss out, what the hell is the guy playing? And then I've got my ear against the wall, walking up and down the wall, trying to find out where it's coming from. And then I find the point where it's at its loudest. And I pull my head back. And my ear's been on the book. That was it. That's how it went down, clearly.
I'm scared to do this now. Yes, halfway through this film, you could hear, and there's my Uncle John.
I think I know who his Uncle John is.
Uncle Jack. He doesn't know Uncle John. He likes to be called Jack. Don't call him John.
No, I didn't think that was Uncle Jack.
Right, okay.
What was the last question?
To be honest, I don't think there's anything I can ask you now that just can't be answered by. So Joy lives Lovecraft. Do you often go out in the middle of the night in a robe?
I wouldn't say a robe so much. I wouldn't call it a robe.
Okay.
What would you call it?
More kind of cloaky.
Cloaky.
Not a robe, though. Your robes are for when you're kicking around in the living room in your slippers.
But that's a dressing gown.
Yeah. That's what I call it.
Joy, the laziest cultist ever, turns up to the weekly burning in just their slippers. Pair of pig slippers. Yeah. What are we doing tonight, then? I forgot to bring the fire.
Yeah, the cultist leaders up on the stage, Gee that laldy. And he's like, oh, George is having a good night. Round the local left. After the sacrifice. Yeah, usual. Yeah.
See, I imagine there's not been Bernard, what's his name? He was in Doctor Who for a bit. No, not Bernard. Bernard Manning wasn't in Doctor Who. Don't trust those Suntarans. Coming over here, taking our jobs. No, I don't remember. He did a song in this late 60s called Right Said Fred. Right Said Fred, and put another cup of tea on. And I just imagine that being you, but more of Cthulian. Is he just sort of sitting there going, oh, it's raining too much for the fire for the burning of the sacrificial virgin. I'll put a cup of tea on.
That's how the English do it.
It's true. You got us there, Gruff.
Yeah. Well, moving on, because there's just nowhere we can go from that. That's freaking amazing. Tonight we're talking about Dagon from 2001, directed by Stuart Gordon, who did such other films as not the Rats in the Wall, sorry, The Dreams in the Witch House for the Masters of Horror series, and Andy's favourite film, Reanimator.
Yay!
Now, the strange thing about Dagon is the fact that it's not actually Dagon.
No.
Dagon is very little strange story about a morphine-addicted sailor who plans to commit suicide over an incident that occurred early on in World War One. And he just floats around for a while, sees horrible things, and decides to go for a walk on what can be described as slimy things. That has got nothing to do with this. This is actually the adaptation of The Shadow over Innsmouth, with a little bit of Dagon shoved in. Now, the reason we've got Jai here for Dagon is twofold. The first of is, I demand that Jai has to be on whenever we talk about fishmen. I don't know why. There's no real need for this. I just feel that Jai and fishmen go together quite nicely. And there's why. The other one is, The Shadow over Innsmouth is a very interesting book when you realise what it's about, which is something we'll probably talk about as we go on. I'm not going to blow the spoiler yet, just in case people haven't seen it. I don't want to blow the ending of the film, but we'll certainly talk about that later on. So, unless anybody has anything they want to bring up about either Shadow over Innsmouth or Dagon itself, no, that'll be nothing. We shall get going with the film. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you
Never ready.
So, 3, 2, 1, and play.
Time to go swimming with the fishes, right? Right?
If you're lucky, you'll be swimming with the fishes.
Yeah. Oh, there's a couple of lines later on in this film which I do believe are comedy genius. And I didn't think it would be possible to make proper jokes out of fishmen, but they managed to do it.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Sounds like it writes itself to me.
Well, you start making jokes of fishmen and it seems a bit forced. They managed to not make it forced. It's pretty good. I always forget just how long it takes for this, the Fantastic Factory. No, get it away. Get it
I
away.
love that seems so 90s. It reminds me of the Fun Factory that used to be on Sky One.
Yes.
I don't know why. It shouldn't.
Right in there.
Yeah.
Dagon. Actually, the fonts they've used for the credits, kind of reminds me of that Aragon thing that came out not long ago. Oh, I've seen it not long ago, but quasi-recent history.
I remember hearing about that.
Came out within the last 10 years.
Yeah. God, I'm old. That was recent to me. It's in the past decade. Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Well, the last decade hasn't been a real decade. It just keeps vanishing.
Yeah.
Time. But this film will start off in a minute or two, and
Yes.
it does something which I didn't realise it did until maybe the third time I watched it. It foreshadows brilliantly. But it never foreshadows by going, foreshadowing, pay attention. It just does it really, really nicely, calmly, and Uxia Blanco terrifies the living shit out of me. Boom, we'll come to that later.
I'll confess, it's been a couple of years since I watched this. I do remember what happens, but yeah. Yay! Hey, for rewatching old stuff.
We're going to drag you back in, Jai.
Oh, I thought I escaped the water.
He can't escape it. You can only delay it. That does make sense.
So, going back to the water. They always told me I'd go back to the water.
Fishmen, roly-poly fishmen. This sequence has never looked fantastic, has it?
I think this would look great if it came from, 1995.
Oh, that's true.
It would be amazing then. You'd be like, oh, man. Actually, no, maybe not amazing. It would probably be Mortal Kombat level.
Well, you wouldn't notice it, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I just mean the effects of the...
Yeah, just the CGI, yeah.
Doesn't look that bad.
The CG bits do.
Yeah, the CG bits do stand out quite badly. But to be fair, this isn't a film that had much of a budget. Which is something we're going to say probably about every single one of these films that we talk about.
And it'll make me sad every time.
I think that...
Maybe it's that I have low expectations for Lovecraft friends.
You do right.
But I want more from them.
There's only one man who can give you that.
Del Toro.
Yep.
You better not disappoint. Well, he won't disappoint.
He won't. Yeah. He may get screwed by other people, but he won't.
Yeah. That's what I'm more worried about, that other people are screwed. Gold! Gold!
You'll never catch my lucky charms.
Is that 388, it says?
Yes.
When you said, oh, there's a creepy happy lady. boobs.
She
boobs.
she properly terrifies me.
Which part about her?
Her in general.
Fishtail?
No, her in general.
Why? Is it because of that with the creepy teeth?
I feel that if I explain to you why she terrifies me, whilst recording a podcast, too many people will know. So I'm not.
How do you figure that?
Because people will listen and then they'll go, no. But no, I'll explain to you off air, and if other people want to know, tough shit. So this is the sort of thing that dates this film. This kid is a .com millionaire. Do you remember that? Do you remember them?
Yeah.
Yep, I was one of them.
Were you?
Yeah, I blew it all on hookers and crack.
So what you're saying is you're actually Shadow from Gladiators.
Yes.
All the money that you ever made, you just threw away on hookers and crack.
Which was really depressing because Shadow was my favourite gladiator.
He was also one that was,
Clearly a kindred spirit.
Yes.
he was also one that was most obviously on crack.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that because I was a child.
As the film goes on, I do think one good thing about it is this lass here, for the most of it, she is not your quintessential Hollywood woman. You know, she's not the usual girlfriend character. She's fairly capable. Right up until the end, where I think I'm fairly sure that we're going to use the term monster rape.
What do you mean? I thought it was consensual.
But we'll come to that later.
Spoiler, it's sensual. Don't spoil the money shot of the movie.
The money shot. Oh God, we're drowning in it. The interesting thing about him is the main character here. He's actually British. The actor is British.
Really?
Yeah, would never have guessed.
Huh. So in a Spanish-American production, he is a British man.
Yeah.
That is kind of weird. Well, I suppose if they want a fairly competent person, get in the Brits.
Yeah. Get the Brits in. That way you know you've got a decent actor for cheap.
Well, yeah, he's one of the better ones, I suppose. He's not great, but...
Oh, no, I like him. I think he does a really good job with the character. Certainly gets the point across of all the different things that the character has to go through.
You see, it's Howard's boat. It's Howard's boat.
He's reading John Grisham as well, apparently. He's got a book there next to his laptop. I think he should have had a Lovecraft book.
No, that would have been too on the nose. It would probably been. We should be probably reading some other horror writers, like maybe Poe or something like that.
Or Stephen King.
He's reading Anne Rice, and there's just pages ripped out of it.
He's reading Twilight before it was out. He saw the oncoming darkness.
He's got a couple of Poppy Z Bright books, but he's taking bites out of them.
Actually, it kind of makes sense. He's got a John Grisham book there, because doesn't John Grisham do a lot of kind of nautical type stuff?
Yes, so yeah, I think my granddad reads that stuff.
Yeah, so he's out on the ocean and he's doing surveying. He's probably reading one of those books that has. Because I've not read a lot of them, but I've read like 3/4 of one, and it did have a kind of a nautical investigation rescue type group thing.
There was a guy who wrote stuff along the lines of John Grisham, and I can't remember his name, so I'm going to shut up.
Clive Cussler.
That's the one. Well done. Oh, hello. Old naked boobs. Yay.
Is that how you know old naked boobs?
Yes, she's old naked boobs.
Yeah.
You would just chuck her in. It's 2001. That looked like an expensive laptop. You just chuck her in after it.
I remember when I first saw this, I was pretty pissed off at her. And it wasn't even my laptop. I was like, okay, I get it. You don't want him to use this laptop, but really? Really?
What I'm more intrigued as, what was he using in 2001 for internet connection?
Slaves.
Slaves.
Don't ask how.
Wow. You know, I was thinking before about giant living Lovecraft. Yikes.
Religion, man. It's a weird thing.
No,
Our main actor does have some unfortunate scars. I noticed on his chest at the beginning, or his stomach area at the beginning of the movie.
You've got to admit, I've never noticed that.
No. When he comes out of the boat, he actually has these big pink scars, 4 of them, around his ab area, which we'll touch on later, which I hadn't noticed until watching it here. I went, oh, look at that.
No, you see, there's something else later on that you notice on his neck as the film goes on.
Yes.
I've never noticed the ones on his That's
It's just a little pink area.
Yeah.
You can see 4 pink lines.
it ties into what I said before. This film does foreshadowing brilliantly.
Oh.
Oh, look, Evil Storm, nice blue sky. So just pay attention to Evil Storm, nice blue sky.
Yeah.
I'm far too busy trying to look at this guy's stomach now. Because Randy.
Oh, look at his stomach.
I have a feeling they're not going to shoot it directly for that reason.
Hey, come on, Paul, give us your stomach.
Crikey, mate, there's a storm blowing in.
That's a pretty rapid storm, that is.
Remember when wind blows, I say, oh shit.
You can always tell it's a Stuart Gordon film because there is a scantily clad woman wandering around happily.
And this is a bad thing.
No,
It's sexist, perhaps, but
I don't think that she is a sexist character. I think she is. Black Evil Storm, Evil Black Storm, red everywhere. Nice and sunny. Black Evil Storm.
And those wind machines going over time.
have to none.
Oh, there is a Wasp concert going on in the background.
Oh yes, you do get to see his pink scars again.
Brace yourselves for the oncoming storm.
Once they crash on the rocks.
This is the sort of thing that terrifies me. Yeah, you know how sometimes you see something in a film and you can imagine it happening in real life, and oh, there you go, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
And you just don't ever want it to happen to you in real life, and it could happen to you, and it terrifies you.
Yeah.
This is one of those things. The fact that she's stuck and can't get out.
And could drown as well, very easily.
Yeah. Stuck between literally a rock and a hard boat.
That's a sad joke.
Yes, it was.
I'm not one to talk about it.
And what makes it worse is she's only wearing a towel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing that freaked me out, that that kind of situation, was I saw some kind of horror movie about bees, and I saw someone run out and get stung to death by bees and have the bees crawling inside their mouth.
There.
Oh, and as a child, that gave me my fear of, maybe not fear, but my real dislike of bees.
The hatred of the bee.
Yes, pretty much. I was like, I don't want anything that could stick
Slugging up our shelves.
Was it Michael Caine's The Swarm?
I don't know.
Please tell me it was Michael Caine's The Swarm.
It might be. It wasn't very good.
If it was a bloody awful film that was 3 hours long, then that was it.
That might be it. I remember seeing it when I was like really young at a friend's house at maybe like 3 a.m.
3 hours to tell you, bees bad, Michael Caine good.
That's probably it. Freaked me out.
God, The Swarm's a shit film.
What do you mean? It's got Michael Caine in it.
Yeah,
Guy from Batman.
And you know why he took that film? Do you know why Michael Caine did
he
The
want
Swarm?
another boat?
Yes.
I thought so.
He did Jaws 4, or Jaws the Revenge, so he could pay off the mortgage on his house. And he did The Swarm to buy a boat.
I thought he did Jaws 4 for a boat.
It might have been the other way around. Then he might have done The Swarm to pay off the mortgage on his house.
I got a boat.
I got a sexy boat. What?
He was kind of up front and frank about it. He says, yeah, I needed money. I wanted to buy something. So I did this movie.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not going to make any kind of no bones about it. It's like, I'm not going to apologize for it. I got a bunch of money of it.
You got a bunch of money to make a terrible film. No, you're absolutely right. He got the boat with Jaws 4 because the sentence he said was, "I have not seen Jaws the Revenge. I have been assured it is most terrible. I have, however, seen the boat that I have because of that film, and that's rather lovely."
That's right.
Yeah, I've heard that one as well. Yeah.
Oh, there's blood in the water.
Blood in the water.
There's blood in the water, and the sharks will come.
There's more than just blood in the water.
I like the fact that the blood's going, I'm going over here.
Yep, I'm deliberately going over here.
Oh, black blood.
Oh,
Splat. Oh,
Splat.
I love blood.
Ominous. No, it's not. It's not blood.
No. He's saying he loves blood. Oh, he loves blood.
See, this is what I was talking about. At this point in time, Paul is a completely useless character who really hasn't got a fucking clue what to do.
Yeah.
He's like most of us.
But he goes through a really realistic, I think, character progression as this shit just keeps happening to him.
This whole them in the boat and it's sinking reminded me for some reason of Pirates of the Caribbean, the beginning with Jack Sparrow.
Really?
He gets off the sinking boat.
I thought it would have been
Not
more,
quite as epic, but
I thought it would have reminded you more of maybe say the Poseidon Adventure or something like that.
I've never seen it.
That's too old then.
I've been on the ride at Disney World.
You've never seen the Poseidon Adventure?
I've been on the ride. It was fun.
What the hell do you do on Sunday bank holidays?
I cry.
Clearly, what this movie needs is a mad priest to throw himself to the things and say, "Take me, let them go and take me. If you have to take anyone."
So I thought you were going to make a War of the Worlds thing there. You just get like a priest wandering out with the, as I walk through the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Oh, well.
Actually, the inclusion of that kind of like a priest-like character like that wouldn't have went amiss in this.
No.
We would totally have fit in.
I don't think it would have been difficult to get him into the film, though. Yes, you've got these two who are obviously bonking like nothing else. He's just become rich, and then you've got old sex addicts.
Do you think of the swingers?
I think that there's been a pot with some car keys in it, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Sad to say. He's rich, you know. He's rich to the
What rich people do, apparently.
to just become swingers.
Oh, where's you going to do?
I should really tell you some point about the the very interesting Crosby toilets thing that happened in Cumbria.
Did you say Cosby?
Crosby.
Oh, not okay. I thought you said Cosby as in Bill Cosby.
Welcome to Bill Cosby. Aye, toilets. Oh,
You see, you poop in the bowl, Theo, you see.
Dagon.
Rudy.
Cthulhu. Oh, I'm panning up to create that. Look at Cthulhu.
I want to have Bill Cosby interview the Lovecraft monsters.
So why you go around eating all the brains?
Why are you going on the roof, Mr. Shogath, when the roofing and the slamming on the roof?
With your wiggling and your waggling and your tiggling and your taggling. At this point, I want to point out to anyone who's not already noticed in the listenership what's written on his jumper.
The Miskatonic University.
Oh, yeah. I noticed that. Yeah. Wow, he was doomed from the start, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
So he's actually from Arkham, which is pretty cool.
Or is he?
Oh, the Historic Order of Dagon.
That's not what that said. That said Spanish words. And then Dagon.
Interestingly enough, Dagon wasn't a Lovecraft creation.
No, I've seen like for some reason Will Wheaton had up, hey, do you want to know what the signs for all the demons are? And there was the sign for Dagon. I went, huh.
He was originally a Babylonian fertility god. And Lovecraft decided to take that idea and add it to his own mythos.
There's a couple of gods that have been co-opted into the kind of Lovecraftian, family, if you like. Mostly by other writers, though, to be fair.
Oh,
I think some of
August
the
Derleth was a absolute shit for doing that.
Okay. I was thinking more of the, no, I don't know who it was, but there was this one point where someone into this idea of there being like protective gods, which is like totally the antithesis of everything that Lovecraft should stand for.
Yeah.
If someone decided to include this idea of there being like good gods that humanity can kind of call upon to protect you, and I think some of them were kind of Egyptian gods, like Sif. Wait, no, it's not Sif. Yeah, the cat one. Whatever she's called again, I can't remember. But the cat's goddess of Egyptian mythology, like she was one of them. And there's a few others as well. So it's not Lovecraft's fault in those instances, but it's not the first time that terrestrial gods, as we'll call them, have been kind of co-opted into the Lovecraft universe.
August Derleth was really bad for doing that, for attaching existing mythological figures into the Cthulhu cycle. Hello, stranger. What are you buying? Sorry. Who else was Brad Lumley? Brad Lumley was another one who started messing around with the idea of gods in the Cthulhu cycle, which never really worked for me, especially when you got the good female Cthulhu.
I remember you telling me about that. That just seemed weird.
Oh, it is. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Was it Paul to mention that?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bad Paul.
Bad Paul. I do feel that Resident Evil 4 has a lot to thank this film for.
Yeah, totally. That's what I thought as soon as I saw this movie. I was like, this is the Spanish village.
Yeah.
And they do have a big fish as well in that game.
They do indeed.
The Lago.
The two possibilities thing. Oh dear. There are two possibilities. Either they're alive or they've been eaten by a fish god.
There is nothing in between.
Potato, potato.
Oh, I love the subtle makeup on these things.
Oh, he's got a little bag under his eye, just poking through underneath the sunglasses. A little puffy thing.
Yeah, it's just enough that you go, what?
It's subtle wrongness.
To double take where you kind of look twice and that's, what?
That ain't right.
Yeah.
The other thing to bring up is, I was saying before about how this is actually an adaptation of The Shadow of Innsmouth, not an adaptation of Dagon itself, even though it does take elements from the Dagon story. In this, Innsmouth has been transformed into Imboca, the town of Imboca. And the town of Imboca is one of those places where I firmly believe you should never go, because it's a place where money cannot save you.
I thought you meant just because you'll probably not survive.
Well, exactly. You're here. There is, even if you had a crap ton of money, you will not get out alive. Money will not save you with your fucking webbed hand. I do feel that this place probably looks beautiful in the summer.
I don't know. I think it would look even creepy then.
I want to imagine that this is the location that the Infestation comics take place. That priest.
Yes.
Yeah, that was him.
The Transformers Infestation.
Yep.
Oh, the Cthulhu one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is actually, this is the location.
So
if he goes outside again and starts doing some diving, we'll just find a bunch of robots. They're there.
Just found some robots in the hastily created script. This is fantastic.
Look at his ankle. His ankle's all cocked off to the side.
It's the little things happening in the background and the corners. It's what gives the film its atmosphere. That and the fact that they filmed it in January where it's pissing down and freezing cold.
Oh, they must have had an awful time filming this.
Completely. Apparently it was one of the most miserable experiences they all had. And I think that comes across. I think that helps the film somewhat.
It does give that kind of hopeless desperation when you're having an awful time, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of desperation.
His lurch.
I've never felt the touch of a woman.
I did wish when I saw this movie that they did have subtitles.
I'm glad they don't.
Well, mine has subtitles, but they're actually not English subtitles. When she's speaking in Spanish, the subtitles are in Spanish.
And that's helpful.
See, actually, what I kind of wished he'd done is, see when she took out the lighter and she lit the flame, I kind of wonder if he'd have went like, fire bad. So he's going like, fire bad.
Did anyone notice his big tentacle fingers?
Yes. They were. I'm surprised he wasn't popular with the ladies.
What he should have done is he should have punched her out and said in perfect English, no ticket. You really just want him to smack him with the pole, don't you?
Yeah, I thought it was. It's just seemed natural. He should like cold cock him in the back of the head.
Because it does feel that they're just playing him a little bit too much here. They've got these two from in here. They've just strangled the lass, and they just sort of like going, no, no.
That's a feckless wonder.
Yeah,
you got to play with him for a little bit.
I like all the string.
And what's to the grandfather.
There's only two of them on that boat, so maybe they want to wait until he's on the island before they attack.
Maybe.
When there's literally too many of them. His sides seem to be hurting him a lot, though. He is grabbing them a fair bit.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. As I say, film is amazing for foreshadowing. I like the priest. Or to be fair, I don't like the priest. The priest freaks me out. However, he's a wonderful creation.
In what sense?
Well, he's coming across as being a priest. He's trustworthy. He's trying to help. But at this point, because you've seen what he's up to, that he isn't trustworthy and he's actually quite horrendous and he's a little off-putting and weird. But that sequence there where he's like being quite helpful and your friends, where are your friends?
I'll need to double check here, but something that I kind of see the previous scenes when you first see him when he's talking to the guy's got limes in his neck.
Yep.
When he was talking to the girl, I was kind of freaked out by his eyes, and I think it was maybe that he's not blinking.
Correct.
Yeah.
When you're like, most of these people are not blinking, like fucking Lurch here.
He only blinks once in the entire film. But the thing is, his unblinking, because Lurch here isn't blinking, and he just looks like he isn't blinking. But when the priest isn't blinking, his eyes just look really sore.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably because he's got the wind like whipping into him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
his eyes are
hurts.
kind of fucking out in the fear during the conversation.
Do you think the director would just scream at him, "Don't blink! Don't blink!"
Blinking, want to do it all again.
Once again, here's another little sequence where Paul is blinking away. He can't keep contact with him. But it's never said, why aren't you blinking?
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's not signposted or signalled. Which is probably why these type of films don't do as well as I'd like. Oh, that looks horrible and painful.
I love how he just chucks the keys at him. Stinky human.
I like the barnacles that are growing on top of his head.
I didn't even notice the barnacles. Well, pay attention.
Big spots of warts or something.
All right, yeah.
Oh, barnacles. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, Dad.
Oh, that would be so sad if that's how they displayed their elders. Sorry, Dad. Gut him.
Yeah, there's little fishy spots, little frog spots, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing this film does, and it does amazingly, is there's things in the background that tell you a story if you are inclined to pay attention to them.
You got an example? I mean, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, we're going to come to an example when he gets to the room.
Yeah.
But it's just how decayed everything is. Yet these really nice bits of finery on these decayed, water-soaked walls.
Did you hear the married fish couple there?
That would be Seal Boy. I demand that you do not say ill of Sea Boy.
Sea boy and lobster lass.
Flying lobster child.
The most deadly of fish people.
Yeah,
I didn't really know these kind of light switches existed either. And the stupid clicky ones left and right.
Welcome to Imboca.
Imboca.
Obviously, boca is Spanish for mouth.
Mouth.
Yes.
Okay. Makes sense.
Imboca.
I first says, even though the symbol that's been used for Dagon is like very eye-like.
You're saying it to build your own person. The symbol for Dagon is the eye. Oh, no, person. Anyway, this is the point I was talking about. He's about to rip off the bed sheets, and we're going to see a stain on the bed, which gives the idea that a few minutes ago, there was something sleeping in there, and it's been told to get out. What the hell could have made that stain? Ugh. You wouldn't stay in that room, would you?
I just like how that bathroom is, because you know that bathroom is pretty smelly.
Oh yeah.
I did think it was odd though when he tries to turn on the water. They're surrounded by water in a place full of fish people.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have water? Nah.
Goes on. This is the fuck you room. This is the we're playing with you room.
She just turns your tap and just liquid shit just comes out. Like,
it doesn't actually connect to any pipes. It just connects to a big tank next door where all of them are just shitting into it. This is the room to fuck with people. Here we go. This is what I was meaning. Oh God, I wouldn't want to lie on that. What the hell makes that kind of?
Because he has the reaction that we'd all have as well. Like, are you joking? What?
You've got to be shitting me. No, not a chance.
Well, just brought Gary here as soon as possible.
Imboca.
Welcome to Imboca.
I want someone to do a travel video for this, trying to publicize it.
Imbolka, the beds are full of fisky.
Oh, come with me to It'd have to be Galron.
That would be so good.
Because he'd have to have his eyes bulging out like he always does. So like, hang on, Galron. Are you actually... It'd have to be that actor.
Yeah. He waves and he has webbed hand.
I see you at Imbolka.
See, I was thinking more of travel... the Travel Planet, where they do those like 4-minute things about different parts of the world.
Oh, man.
And now we go over to Sully in Imbolka. It's just like 4 minutes of screaming and running. Come to Imbolka!
I don't know what it was, because even though I know this is all Spanish, I think it's just the kind of, the Hollywood has drummed this idea into me. But I kind of would have maybe have liked this to have had some kind of Russian overtone or something. It's like, so kind of Soviet Russia or decrepit kind of thing going on. I suppose it kind of, I'm sure there was a kind of horror movie recently set near Chernobyl. So it's kind of that kind of...
Oh, Chernobyl Diaries.
That's it, yeah. I've not seen it, but just the same kind of idea I'm thinking.
Not a great film, unfortunately.
I've heard it's awful.
But no, you're absolutely right. A Lovecraft film set in... Oh, that's not good. A Lovecraft film set in Russia would work really well. Sort of the decrepit fall of Russia time, definitely.
Yeah, because see if it was set during the haste, that what I say the heyday of the Soviet Empire, where everything behind the Iron Curtain is just like a mystery. No one in the West knows what happens over there. Anything could be happening over there, so it lends it a slight air of possibility. This could have happened in some little shitty outskirt town, hundreds of miles away from anywhere. Because like, Russia was huge, like it's an entire continent, and the entire swathes of the country entirely cut off from each other. So you could totally believe, this some little horror story happened in a town in Soviet Russia that no one's ever even heard of, type thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think that'll be a fantastic movie. I'm surprised it hasn't actually happened.
The premise sounds good, but every premise can be ruined easily.
Do you think that just happened there whilst you were talking? What is, you actually had people shouting Tikali, which is from the Mountains of Madness.
All right.
So that's...
What is Tikali?
Tikali is the crazy noise that the crazy things make when they're coming to get you.
Oh, okay.
It is also the noise that one of the characters makes when he goes stark raving mad and doesn't have anything else to say.
Fair enough.
The other thing that is, I love the idea that they've taken the bolt off the door. And this is ingenuity at its finest. Quickly, let's badly put this on.
I do like how he says, "Can I help you?"
He's in there. Stupid twat.
Do you think how hard it would be for those fish people with their fishy hands to use the screwdriver?
Well, obviously, somebody used their prehensile tentacles to be able to do that one.
With great difficulty. You get one of the newly converted to do it, who's still got all the digits.
He still has appendages. He will be Screwdriver Boy.
Yes, you will be DIY Boy. This is why obviously the place is in disarray, because no one can fix anything. Fucking Seal Man.
Oh, I love Seal Boy. He makes some of the best. I love this stuff. You don't get a really good look at any of them.
Yeah.
To tie back to what Andy was saying before, I'm glad. Oh, there's some creepy fuckers there. Obviously, one of them's from Silith in Cumbria. Anyway, we were saying before about how you wish there were subtitles, Andy.
Yes.
I'm glad there isn't, because
only for some parts.
Just when there's two Spanish people talking to each other.
Well,
for when Barbara's talking in Spanish, anyway.
Yes, and another point for when we find Jai's dad.
Oh,
or Jai's cousin. Why we I? He said Jai lives Lovecraft. Yeah, you'll see why.
no.
His family's deeply green.
But it's a traditional family.
You laugh because you can see it, can't you, Gruff?
Yes, I can. But the point I was trying to make there before we went off into impugning Jai's good name is
insulting my lineage.
Chef, insulting your gene pool. Which is a very difficult thing to do. It is not just insulting your family, insulting your gene pool, insulting everything that has ever made you ever.
It's a new level to go to.
I like the fact that it's all in Spanish and you don't know, because you're left in the same kind of position that Paul is left in, where he hasn't got a fucking clue what they're saying, and neither do you.
Yeah. No, I think, that's fine. It's just the main story points would be nice to have them for. But I agree with you for the most part that you don't need it for the rest of it.
Yeah, I think
it's creepy.
I think it would have taken away a lot of the suspense and atmosphere of the film if you knew what they were saying.
Oh, yeah.
If you knew they were saying, get the girl, and not bring out the chainsaws with the thumb attachments.
What's on telly tonight?
Coco for Coco.
I got news for you at 8 o'clock. Better get this over with fast.
Did you hear Coco Beware's World Wrestling Federation champion?
Denny Crane.
Teddy Gray.
Coco for Coco Buffs.
Now, this is a new thing that wasn't in Shadow over Innsmouth. The skin swing in there. Yeah. That's something that I don't, as far as my knowledge says, it's something that was never in any of the Lovecraft novels, the idea of skinning people.
I like the idea of it, though, because it kind of plays up a little bit later.
It works with this.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It also gives you the idea that there's two sets of people in this film. Within Imboka itself, there's the heavily in the cult people who do the things like the skinning and whatnot, because the majority of people in there never come across as being evil. They just come across as being peasanty, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to make the best of the situation that they've got, which isn't a wonderful situation because they're all becoming fish people. And I don't got the feeling that they're evil, they're just misguided, for want of a better term, misled.
Cursed.
It's too late for them now, so what are you going to do?
They've got to continue on this path to survive.
You've got a giant flipper for a leg. What, where can you go from there?
I've got Bob. Everything's safe.
I see you've been using his ingenuity. He's like,
on the
curve.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only way that that's slightly broken is by how bright and colourful this t-shirt is.
Yeah, but everyone's just kind of panicking to get the
silly fire done.
I'm saving the skins.
He really does get beaten the shit out of through this, doesn't he? In a way that you haven't seen since John McClane, he just keeps getting the shit kicked out of him by things.
He does have a rough day, that's for sure.
Worst day. Yes! Sorry.
Yeah, the best character in this.
Oh, completely.
The bum.
He needed subtitles, I would say.
I do think it's probably worth talking about Paco Rabanne, or Francisco Rabanne, as he's actually called in this, because this guy was a famous as hell actor.
Well, the bum?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He was one of the big Spanish actors. Yeah. Oh, God, I love that makeup. Tentacles everywhere.
You don't even see it.
No, right? It's fantastic. Look, Hollywood, this is how you do it.
Yeah, just don't show everything.
No.
Just shows bits.
Hint.
Yeah. Give you the idea, and then your mind makes it worse.
Oh, I think the reason I want to bring up Francisco Pabal completely is this is his last film. He died not long after it.
Oh.
Which is a shame, because I feel he would have got a whole new, not an audience, but a whole new fan base. Because he is so good in this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely. There were some of the best lines, the best acting.
But yeah, he'd been an actor since the 30s. 40s, sorry, not 30s, 40s. I just love listening to his voice.
It's creepy. At least he sells it to be creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I like his little hat. His little hobo hat.
Your first mistake was coming to Imboka.
Imboka. He's the only one that hadn't turned fishy, isn't he?
Yes, because he never followed the cult.
No.
He just got pissed all the time instead.
Yep, he embalmed himself.
Yeah.
It was like clearly the only solution, not a solution, but the only way to somewhat protect yourself in the world of Lovecraft is to already be a bit insane.
Oh, I took it more as just be disgusting. They just didn't like him because he smelled of booze.
Just be below the notice of the horrible things, and just be a bum and be drunk and insane. It's not going to entirely protect you, but you'll be lower down on the priority list.
What I think is quite nice is the fact that Dagon is actually tributed to Francisco Papal.
Some people would say that's quite insulting, I'm sure.
Really?
Oh, some people really don't like Dagon.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I was showing Jai some reviews off Amazon.
But they were just uninformed keyboard warriors.
I'm surprised by that. Because I think Dagon, outside of the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society stuff, is probably the closest in atmosphere to the books of Lovecraft.
Yeah. I can see in some ways why some people wouldn't like it, because one of the main complaints that people brought up, which I find hard to dispute, is at this point, basically after this past sequence, it's basically a chase scene, which is a fair point. But, the atmosphere is still kept up, so no, I don't find it too bad.
No, if it had been a chase scene, and as you say, the atmosphere, if the atmosphere lost its routine, its rhythm.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I'd agree with you. But I think if anything, the chase scene is just a way for all of the different things to take place.
Yeah, it gets you from A to B, and it shows you how messed up this place is.
It's a plot device. I love this sailor.
Yeah, he looks pretty badass.
He just walks in. It's like, oh, evil.
It's because that little beard. Does he have eyeliner on his?
He does. It's not easy being evil.
It's not. He bring the fish. You get plenty fish. You get all fish you want and more.
See, back in day, you had to use silly rituals and things to contact the old ones. Now you can Twitter them. Dear Dagon, I'd like some money. Love, evil sailor. P.S. Souls on offer.
Will happily lob.
Hello.
Children into sea.
Your friend and mine, evil sailor.
Mr. E. Sailor.
Yes, this never really got what I mean. I understood obviously that the mechanism of what this is supposed to do, but I never really got a connection between that artifact and any Lovecraft that I was aware of, at least.
It's the symbol of Dagon.
Oh yeah, I know. It's an eye.
Yeah. It's actually from Dagon itself, if memory serves me right. It might not be Dagon. It's
what the actual artifact is from Dagon.
I'm sure it's Dagon. I might be thinking of one of the other ones.
It's actually part of his body.
No, it's in part of the story.
Oh, okay.
That thing, wherever that thing is where Dagon goes. It's like not a summoner, but it's like that is the Silver Surfer to Dagon's Galactus. This bit is ripe for the picking. So I quite like the
fish and gold.
Yeah. Oh, we got fish. Oh, we got gold too. Life couldn't get any better, could it?
It gets crazy after that. The next scene's just like, whoa, you went too far, guys.
Well, that's it, isn't it? They got greedy. But these guys didn't. This is the interesting thing. Oh, recognize that?
Yep.
Get away.
Zero.
Don't want any of your radioactive shit.
Your Chernobyl cast-offs.
God.
I love the music from that sequence as well.
It's nice and jolly. Everybody's happy for gold.
And this is why this film couldn't get made in America.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Smashing the porcelain Jesus.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like a euphemism for something.
Oh, God. I love the hammer cue as well.
Yeah.
It really goes to town on the priest as well.
It's like, after the second one, look, mate, he's dead. There's no coming back from that.
It's like, no, 3 times, just in case, because you never know.
Invoca pray to Dagon.
It's just a bit sad that the poor evil sailor does get a bit of a silly uniform.
Hey, hang on. I now want to believe that this sailor is actually like Nyarlathotep. No. Yeah, Nyarlathotep.
No.
Wasn't I love the Egyptian? In history, he was he was an Egyptian pharaoh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the crawling chaos.
So he can take the form of a man. He did the reason why his name sounds Egyptian because he did exist in Egypt for a while. He was a pharaoh. You know, this guy looks kind of pharaoh-y with his big beard and with the new vestiges of power on him.
I can see the reasoning behind that.
It's one I've not actually correlated before, but yeah, that could well be the case here. I always feel that thing, you just want to put it up to your eye and pretend it's a targeting system. you just want to go, boom, baby.
See, when I first saw that, I assumed that's how our good old bum got the scar on his nose. Like the priest was going to like jab it into his nose.
Smashed it down his face.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe that happened later on, yeah.
Maybe.
You got to think that this guy has probably been beaten up by all the people in Boca numerous times.
Yeah.
He's got such an amazing face.
There's a story to that face.
There really is.
He is the guy that has seen shit.
I've seen some shit.
And I don't mean, obviously, he's the guy that's seen shit for this movie, but I mean, he's got that face that you look at him and, yeah, this guy's seen shit.
Well, this guy saw the Spanish Civil War, you know, things like that. This guy has had an interesting life. Oh, look there, he's got another bottle in there. He just pulls out the next one.
Yeah, keep yourself
Well
pickled.
topped up. Yeah.
You can't let yourself sober up at all because then the madness creeps in. The alcohol keeps the madness at bay.
In Boca, we don't have AA society.
We do, but it's nothing to do with alcohol.
Well, I suppose it kind of makes sense that if your mind is addled with alcohol, it makes you more resistant to the creeping terror and the insanity, which is
Well,
Even if you say you trick your brain into saying, no, I'm drunk.
well, that's exactly the point, isn't it? He stays pickled because he keeps him off everyone's radar.
Pickled.
Pickled. Pissed as a fart.
I like pickled.
He's actually shitting himself right now.
Ugh, just soiling himself.
Oh, look at that. I love him wrapped around the crutches
Fully a gangster.
with all the it's a little bit too pink around the skin as well. Love it. Mutations.
irradiation sickness.
Well, that's kind of how I've always taken it. The more the artifacts, once the artifacts arrived, that's when the mutations began.
Yeah.
Radioactive gold.
For want of a better term, yeah.
Yeah. It's not really, but yeah. I mean, you could have easily have just rejig this script slightly, take out the kind of magical references, and it's just radiation. Everyone's going insane because of the radiation.
Now, would you do that to make it more acceptable for Hollywood audience?
No, it's just an explanation of how this stuff happens. It's space radiation, you know.
Well, that's it. Or even just like someone along after the fact comes along, like the entire, so just say at some point the entire town gets wiped out, or everyone disappears, and everyone goes back into the sea, or whatever, and then people, years and years later, people from the outside come in because they realise, we haven't had any contact from anyone here for like 20 years. And that's how they explain it. Space radiation, contaminated gold, whatever, contaminated artifacts. The whole place is just hoaching with background radiation, far higher than it should be.
Yeah.
The whole place gets cornered off, that no one's allowed to go in anymore, quarantined.
That's how I've always seen it, that it's not radiation as such, but that's kind of how it works. Yeah,
That's how the world would explain it if the events that happened to you ever got out in any kind of small degree. They just explain it away with that.
Yeah.
I recommend looking up Delta Green if you want that type of thing. Freaking love the Delta Green stuff.
In an ironic way or in a...
No. The Delta Green's a wonderful idea. It's the military operation dedicated to wiping out Cthulian stuff.
Okay.
They're the guys that dropped the depth charges into Devil's Reef off Innsmouth, killing all the deep ones.
Oh, wow.
They're those type of guys.
Would it actually kill them?
Well, not all of them, no. It didn't kill all of them, as they found out when the really old, pissed-off deep ones came up and slaughtered them.
The really old deep ones.
The deep old ones, the old deep ones.
You know, the ones that had been there for more than 4 or 5 generations.
Oh, wow.
The ones that were like a couple of 1,000 years old. Came up and just like, fuck you, just tore them apart. I think the other major difference between this and the story Shadow over Innsmouth is that this man's an idiot and doesn't know how to hold a car. Is that this gives you the idea that this has all been happening over a couple of generations rather than a multitude. Love it. Rather than a multitude of generations. They've really shortened down the amount of time that the mutations and the fish people, I love those noises, and the fish people arising happens in.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that would happen as the gene pool gets more and more diluted by fish blood, I guess.
I think in Shadow over Innsmouth, it was about, I want to say, about 90 years since it happened. This seems to be closer to 60.
Yeah, well, in the space of a single man's lifetime.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a fabulous old-ass, cracked-faced man.
Wait a minute, you're the girl of my dreams, and they've not been pleasant ones.
Wait a minute, you don't look hideous. What?
Open your mouth.
You're Norm.
Do you have tentacles and teeth in there? She still doesn't fucking blink.
Nope, doesn't blink. Nope.
No.
I think it was accentuates is that she's obviously just got all the eye makeup on, so her eyes are like framed, which is like white.
Just as well, he's a very slender guy. Otherwise, he would have been found out when that door was pushed forward.
Look at that. Once you don't get a good look at him. This crazy sounding voice.
I say you don't really need subtitles. You know what's going on.
Oh yeah. Like I say, only for the bits that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, you didn't need it.
I suppose you're right there for when Barbara's talking in the hotel.
Yeah,
definitely.
That was literally
the idea.
Yeah,
I get the idea what they're saying, but yeah,
that was literally the only point where I wanted a bar where the bum was talking, because sometimes I did lose myself and go, "Oh, okay."
Clearly, she's an ally because she saved me from the horrible tentacled beast man.
I would be far more trusting of her than most people, in fairness. While everybody else has tried to kill me.
But she's just grinning at me and going, "Hello." My God, she's been in all my dreams. She's touching my face. Get off my face. God, she's fucking weird.
But not
entirely repulsive.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
All right, I'm just going to launch myself into this one and get myself ready for the ribbing. So, about 2000 or so, I was kind of seeing a lass, right?
A fish person lass?
A fish woman, okay, right.
That's fine.
She looked a lot like this lass in the film.
Oh, that's weird.
Okay.
I was a little off-put, shall we say.
What, had you seen this movie and then realised?
Well, I'd seen her for about maybe 6-7 months, and then I saw the film. And it was a little off-put.
Talking about Jai living the life of Lovecraft.
So me and my housemate at the time, we sat and watched this film, and the ribbing I got from him.
Did the relationship not last long after that?
Well, it didn't, but that's for entirely different reasons.
No. I had to hear that. I want to hear a different version of it.
It's because she started growing gills.
Yeah, he started. I want to hear it's more like he started really inspecting her hands and feet, really watching her and asking how often she blinks. You could tell
she just took her pants off and there were just 2 giant tentacles there.
No, she was totally normal, but he was so paranoid. He just pissed her off too much and she left. That was it. You fucking fish-obsessed freak. Keep looking at my eyes and I'm looking at my feet.
I will admit, for about a couple of days afterwards, I was waiting for it to blink.
He just spins his head ring. Did you blink there? Did you just blink?
Yeah, anyhow. So he's just got off with a woman with 2 massive tentacles.
There were.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you see a pretty lady there, you don't really assume that she's going to have 2 giant tentacles.
Can you imagine that though? You're there, you've walked into a room, there's an obvious willing woman there, you're getting on with it, and all of a sudden you realise she has gills in her chest, in her stomach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You'd freak out.
Yeah, I mean, unless you knew beforehand.
Would that help?
Depends if you really like her, I guess.
As Joy has said whilst watching a certain anime, it doesn't really matter if the crawling chaos takes the form of a young girl or a young boy. When it's coming for you, you might as well just sit back and accept the inevitable.
Did they not say that love conquers all, whether hands with legs or not?
Craft conquers all.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did he just whab him in the balls there?
I just smacked him in the face with a phone.
with a 2000 era Nokia. Oh, Jesus.
I did like it how he whapped him in the fishy balls. That's pretty good.
Fish.
Because it was a meaty kick as well. It wasn't like an action movie kick. It was just like how we would kick someone. Just like, down you go, fish face.
Oh, man. Once again, you only get a fleeting glimpse.
Yeah, that was freaky.
It's like John Carpenter's type of filmmaking. Outside of The Thing, it's the never really giving you a good idea of what it is that's coming at you. Alien is another one that's very good, and Alien is actually a film that often gets prescribed as having a lot of Lovecraftian influences.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not one that we're going to be covering on the show, I don't think, because it's not really much point.
It's too far removed anyway.
Yeah.
As is The Thing.
Yeah.
Thing is a wonderful film, but there's not really much we can add to it, I don't think.
Just involving space monsters doesn't automatically make you a Lovecraft.
No.
Fine.
The Thing's got a fair few Lovecraftian influences in there, but as I say,
It's its own thing, really.
yeah, literally its own thing.
I didn't.
Yeah. Have anyone noticed the string that pulled the hubcap off?
I didn't. I did notice the guy getting launched backwards, though.
Far too early.
Yes. I think with far too much force, I thought that was hilarious. And just going, it's like the gravity was turned off.
I like to think that his actual physical body is about 3 foot in front of him. What you're seeing is just the after effect, because he's just evil.
See, maybe it's just fish bones he has, so he's really incredibly light.
Something you don't expect, part 4. Being choked to death by a man you've just run over.
Yeah.
Whilst he's still under the car.
While another one without any legs crawls up to you.
That's the thing, but see, nothing that happens in this movie, at least nothing that the our main guy here does, is beyond the realm of what your average guy could do. He's just smacking himself in the face with it.
Oh, I'm confused.
No, he never does it in you or smacking him.
Either way, this works. No, he's not superhuman at any point.
No.
He's not even movie human.
No.
I say he's not the kind of movie somewhat better than you type person.
I think there's only one point where you could argue maybe it's a bit too movie, like where he jumped out the top of the window and went through the glass roof.
Yeah,
it's okay.
That would have screwed you up.
Yeah, that's the only point, really.
But afterwards, he was limping around quite a lot, and you did see him in pain for a fair few scenes afterwards, right up to the point where he sat and talked to a super awesome craggy face bearded man.
Yeah. But he didn't have any huge amount of cuts on his body, though.
He always had a few swigs of the guy's special brew.
Yes, that.
Still to dull the pain.
Oh, this is actually one of my favourite sequences of the movie.
And oddly enough, we're coming up to one of the worst bits of makeup as well, I would say. From the little kid.
Oh, yeah.
He's got awful makeup, but whatever.
The reason I like this sequence so much is because everything that happens here isn't evil.
No.
It
is literally a guy and his son. And it's
something that kind of strikes me as it's something only really is hitting me now. I think it's because of the facial expressions he's pulling.
Mm-hmm.
But see, our man here, he definitely looks to me like a young Jeffrey Combs.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
He was picked because he's Combs light.
Is that the official reason?
Well, no, the fact he's actually very good at what he does in this film. But, yeah, he does. It's the first time I watched it, I sat there going, is it? For the first couple of scenes, just sitting there going, hang on, what? So, if you think about this logic, this is where I like the sequence. This guy's just broken in and he's attacking this guy's son.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Get out of my home.
Yeah, because surely this guy couldn't have been a huge cultist because he wasn't after.
Yeah, he wasn't after everybody. He was living in his submerged house.
Yeah. With the toilet in the living room, which is kind of interesting.
Notice how dirty the toilet is.
Oh,
yeah, that's horrible.
No.
Oh, they got little lizards in it as well for some reason. Is that like just in case you need a lizard?
You never know when you might need a lizard.
I still think it's bizarre that the toilet's in the living room.
Well, it's not. It's in another room, just the walls gone. Oh, pristine white toilet.
No, I want to believe it's in the same room because it's more funny and stupid.
And you go, the guy's just killed his son.
No, he's not dead.
Well, he's
Hey, to be fair, he smashed a
porcelain toilet.
that big lump of porcelain over his head and it cracked in two.
He's a fish person.
He's either dead or he's now drowning.
Nah, could he drown if he's a fish person?
No, he probably couldn't.
Yeah.
Unless it's a shark. And yes. Oh, look at that leg. Look at that leg. Oh.
I definitely think some of these guys should be busting out with some kind of crying sound effects.
A tiny net is a death sentence. It's a net and it's tiny.
I wonder if it's in slow-mo as well. Isn't it? When the guy twats him here, I just wanted to come up with game over. You are dead.
You have been fucked by Capcom. Now this is how you know it's a 2000 film.
Well, with the water effects.
Early 2000 film, out of focus overlays. You're alive! I thought you'd been eaten.
It's my glasses. I simply can't see anything without my glasses.
Oh man, I'd love to see that. Scooby-Doo Cthulhu.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose it kind of happened, didn't it?
In a sense.
Just realised we're going to have to cover that episode of Mystery Incorporated, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
I've not seen it.
That's one to go on the list. Cool.
That one's a good one.
Mhm.
With Jeffrey Combs in as well.
Yes.
As Lovecraft, oddly enough, who he's played before.
So he's basically his entire life work's been building up to that event. Playing the man himself in Scooby-Doo.
Well, he did.
I can retire now.
He does it in the
cleaned it.
I was going to say he played Lovecraft in the Necronomicon. So
yeah,
was it that he had to play Lovecraft in Scooby-Doo? That's the pinnacle of his life's work.
Yeah.
Not just playing Lovecraft in general. Have to be Lovecraft on Scooby-Doo. It's Old Man Lovecraft.
I knew it.
I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you. Blah, 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 blah. You don't want to go over there, mate.
What's that? Yeah, we don't talk about old boobs anymore.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about Booze McGee. Oh man, this film would have been so much better if that had been Debbie McGee.
I think it's weird how this is the first, once this dude appears, she, as her friend, now goes over to try and comfort her.
Well, I like to think she's been over there comforted her up until the point where Paul's been handled into the box.
Yeah, I like to think that she was just like, no, I'm not. I didn't like her that much. Only did that swinging shit because Paul wanted to. She's got no leg now, don't like her. Only like people with two legs.
Oh.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah.
He was just hanging out.
He's a little lighter than he was before. He's got a new look on life.
Well, you know how the Indians used to scalp people?
Well, you know how people like to wear suits? Imagine
Like wetsuits.
your husband is now a suit for the world to wear. What does that mean?
I like the idea of trying to come up with ideas of how to not upset her by telling her what's going on, but just coming up with constantly worse things. You know, Kinder Surprises. You know when you open a Kinder Surprise, there's things inside.
Oh God, my husband was skinned alive. Oh damn, we got it. Yeah.
See, this is the point where if you know anything about Lovecraft, you should just do the honourable thing and just cave her head in right now.
Yeah, completely.
Don't know.
But he is wearing the Miskatonic jumper, so obviously he's been to Arkham Library.
Yeah.
Checked out the Necronomicon a couple of times.
Yeah, like everyone has.
Yeah.
Goes to Miskatonic, it's like required reading.
But the fact, no one knows of Lovecraft unless we're to Miskatonic University.
Yeah, he's like the one guy who went to Miskatonic and didn't to look up all this stuff.
Yeah, because he was setting up his .com website and becoming a millionaire.
And then he went to a place where money doesn't save you.
Who knew? Whoops.
And obviously, they've hacked off her leg to get her out of the boat, clearly.
Oh, see, I took it as Dagon just got a little bit too randy.
No, I got the impression that they just hacked her leg off to get her out of the
I mean, that makes more sense, but I wondered, Dagon looked at it and went, I'm not waiting for you to come out clean. I'm just going to take you now.
Just ripped her straight out the boat.
Pretty much. I think Jai is more accurate, though, unfortunately.
I like to think that somewhere that leg is roasting over an open fire.
Let's just say Dagon, to me, didn't seem to be a gentle lover.
He's not a gentle lover. His claw's going to get you. You can feel it.
Dagon's not something I guess you can grow to love in time.
No, because you don't have time.
No.
Well, you could grow to love him, but it wouldn't be you who's loving him.
No.
Is there? Andy would be gone away now.
I would be gone away now.
Yes, if Dagon decided he was going to make you his bitch, you'd be gone away quite quickly.
I don't think I have the equipment to really pleasurize Dagon.
Oh, you never know.
That's true.
He could have lady bits and balls.
Or
you don't know.
You limited human being,
Yeah, I know.
imagination. Your flesh is brain. It's limited imagination.
There's nothing as good as punching a fish priest.
I love the butchers as well, without any clothing.
Well, this is something I was saying before. I like the idea that this is like the inner sanctum cult. These are the guys who do all the really nasty stuff that's corrupted the entire town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she's kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah, as I say, she's actually very on the ball.
Yeah, nothing more dangerous than a bum with a knife.
And what brings him down? A woman. Damn it.
It's
Well,
always
she didn't scream.
If she didn't scream and he wasn't having flashbacks to last night where he was pissing against a wall and eating a cat.
Good times, man. Eating a cat. Raw.
Yeah.
That was the grumpy cat.
I would love to see the tramp eat the grumpy cat.
I've had better men eat me before.
This takes some...
No, listen, Ricky's having a momentary moment of sanity. She's taking she's winning the game. This is the only good move to make.
You know how you break the emotional scene there? When she falls over, you add in a fart effect.
Oh, nice little bit of seppuku.
Yeah. Oh, damn it, Vicky. You almost had us believing in you. You just couldn't keep it held in.
Wait, if this thing had had a bit more budget, you could have probably had a kind of tentacle thing coming out of her stomach. Because obviously they basically implied it.
You think that might have ruined it. Maybe a little bit of fish egg or something.
Or maybe a different coloured blood as well, mixing it with their own.
Oh, yeah, like 2 different colours of blood. That's probably more slick, yeah.
I do have a question about this next scene.
So I'm just looking at Kane.
Why is the hobo the only one who's not wearing a t-shirt?
I don't
Why did they undress him but not our hero?
They don't want to touch a tonic jumper.
They can sense the elder on it.
It's probably so it helps sell the final reveal.
Yeah, it's probably a lot easier to do it, but still, I just like the idea of them. Nah, let's get him naked. Let's see him naked. Lovely hobo good.
Maybe Kane over here just misunderstood the instructions.
We're going to tie you up now. He just starts undressing. No, look, no, didn't mean that.
Bring out the fish gimp.
Well, I suppose technically he gets a gimp mask of a sort. A reverse gimp mask, you could argue.
I like the knives and the thing that the knives are kept in. It just looks nice and...
Yeah, you notice all the knives look like they're golden as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they have so much gold that they can make anything out of it. They just make everything out of gold because it's so abundant.
Mhm.
Even though it'd be really stupid to make a knife out of gold.
See, I took it more as because it's a sort of a ritual thing. It's a sacrifice for Dagon as well, but just not to him himself, but to the essence of him, since it's using his gold. That's how I
mean, that one seemed to have a little scribing on the side.
Yeah.
I know that the one that the bum stole, it was gold as well. I noticed it was kind of glinting.
I really hate this scene. Mostly because of Hercules over here.
Hercules?
You've got Hercules and Kane.
Oh, God. Yeah, I felt kind of bad for my poor hobo.
Yeah, it's just... Oh god, I just hate the idea that you can't do anything to help him.
No.
Mm-hmm. They died like men. Is it a line in the movie there? Because that's like only hope to achieve in a Lovecraft story, to die still being human.
No, the line of the movie is, no, he fucked her.
I think regardless, the line of the movie's coming at that guy. You can, I mean, in particular in this scene where everyone's kind of naked, you can definitely see that the old man's he's definitely got a more natural skin tone. Everyone else has been artificially kind of whitened up. They're all pasty-faced fish motherfucks.
Only 2 shots as well of the face off, and that's all you needed to freak you out because it's creepy.
I hate the pulling of the face.
Yeah.
It just, it makes me wince.
Yeah. Well, it's meant to. It's not meant to be one of those things where you go, you know. What?
You see, it's one of those things. We've discussed this many a time before, that I don't like gore in films. Not because it makes me feel sick or anything like that. It's just the majority of Hollywood gore is dull. It's boring. You know, there's nothing to it. But because you've got to know this guy and the character's grown on you, seeing this happen to him is horrendous.
Yeah, and it's definitely kind of Hellraiser-esque stuff. Yeah, if I can't remember his name now, but the main human villain guy, when he's walking around with no skin, just a bunch of flesh.
Yeah, there's obviously the gore porn stuff of Hostel, but you don't care. It doesn't do anything to you. Well, that did. It made you go, oh no, not my lovely hobo.
He's my friend.
It's character first, and then the horrendous thing happens to him.
Yeah, it's got got to care about the person it's getting done to for it to have any kind of impact.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not difficult.
I did slightly ruin the scene as well for myself. By the end, when the face came off, I heard Peter Cullen, "Give me your face."
One of the first things I ever heard, one of the first things that popped through my head was actually Skeletor's voice. See, pop the face of it. Hello,
He-Man.
Sure, I've seen her as something else though.
You muscle-bound ninny.
Hang on a second. Let me go look.
She does look really familiar. I mean, other than just the fact I've seen this before.
Yeah. Yeah, she does have that look to her. I do like her logic of sitting in the wheelchair and being like, oh, you don't love her, you don't dream of her. Yeah, but my girlfriend doesn't have fish legs. Just saying.
Fish legs, roly-poly fish legs.
Oh, God, I hate it when she's just looking at him and telling him about the glory of Dagon. It's creepy. Blink. I'm begging you.
Yeah, you find yourself doing that, don't you? You just sit there going, She has been in lots of films I can't pronounce.
Oh, Spanish ones.
Yeah. And another one in 2010 called Neon Flesh.
Whoa. Maybe she just has that look about her then.
Sexy killer. 20 centimeters.
She ain't sexy. She got fish legs.
The Werewolf Hunt.
Invocanos.
Oh, Donald 21.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm just imagining things there.
Yeah. Nothing here that I recognise.
Blink.
Yeah, you find your eyes watering, don't you?
Yeah, well, that's what his is. I'm sure, apart from knowing the horror that he's going to live. But...
Oh, that really is like Magnum Marshall's eyes going on.
Yeah. She actually, I don't know why, because I can't remember her fully, but right at this moment, she reminds me of Ming's daughter.
Yeah.
But not being able.
Oh, she's basically, that's what she's doing. She's saving Flash Gordon.
Yeah, I just mean how she looks.
That's God. He's Flash Gordon.
Now there's one. Flash Gordon versus the Squid Man. I shall punch it. That won't help, Flash. I'm going to punch it.
Basically, just told him, do him. Oh, no.
And do him. Impregnate him. It'll be worth a laugh.
That's not what I meant.
Well, if you like Armageddon so for him, show why the ape man is stronger than the fish man.
And I'll pay close attention to his neck from this point on.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because he cut him.
Mm-hmm.
Cut him good.
So it's something that will take place over a couple of scenes. But you'll notice it. This is a man who's lost his mind now. It's time to go for good stuff.
You like the fish you are. You fucking fuck.
He really enjoyed it as well. He was loving it.
Well, yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Oh, totally.
It's everything you've been through. You fucking face-stealing fish motherfucker.
It's his eyes when he holds up both of the knives as well. He's like, yep. Sorry, priesty.
Yep, time to die.
You have lost it now. That's it. I'm going to kill each and every one of you fucking fish fucks.
Yes, in the Hollywood movie, this would be the bit where the kind of heavy rock music starts to play, just like dun dun dun, and you know it's like, oh shit! So now there's going to be some massacring. Guy's going to go around the city or the town with a pail of a kerosene and a shotgun, just wiping out some fish folk.
But because it's not a full, great big Hollywood movie, what you get is him limping and falling through doors.
That's being realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. As you say, Jay, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't use movie logic at any point. Mm-hmm. Other than the fall through the
roof
skylight. Yeah, it's, for the most part, he's human.
I actually see the John McClane thing. Like, I remember when he's soon going to go into the catacombs and he has the lighter, very much like John McClane.
Yeah.
And he does look as messed up as John does.
Yeah.
Take a fucking leave, motherfucker.
Oh man! If it was a big Hollywood movie, in that kind of slaughterhouse, you would have the scene where he tools himself up with some music playing in the background, getting all the knives, soaking a bunch of rags and taking off the clothes from the guys, wrapping them around sticks, pouring the kerosene on them, getting them all tooled up. Oh, boobies!
Yeah,
big bloody boobies. It's like, you've been touching my pole. Right.
He doesn't love you, he loves me.
I mean, apart from her being all bloodied up and being, slowly killed, she's not too bad of a lady.
Ah, she's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was kicking some ass earlier on.
Yeah, she's not doing too well now. Obviously.
What happened? Yeah, Cthulhu.
And obviously we find out what they've done or have been doing with the human skin. They've been making clothes. Obviously.
I love any kind of sequence that has that chant being said by a crowd. It's fucking terrifying.
Makes it worse that they've got little tentacles flopping around as they're saying it as well.
Yeah. And each and every one of them looks slightly like the Scarecrow from Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's nothing sexy about this scene at all. Nothing sexy. Despite the fact she's totally Starkers, there's hee-haw sexy about this scene.
Unless you're really into your sacrificing. I think if you are, then you're probably not. You shouldn't be listening to this.
You should be listening to this. You should really be far away from me. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you get any kind of gratification of this sequence, you really need to be as far away from me as physically possible.
Yeah. I mean, to each their own, but to an extent, right?
She should really.
What if she's got weights attached to her feet as well?
Yeah.
Well, she should do an ab crunch and just do a poop.
Yeah. Just a shitting on whatever's coming up.
Well, if you want to spoil a meal, that's how you do it.
I see the blood again. They explain it. Calling it back to the beginning of the movie with the blood.
Mm-hmm.
The blood calls him.
There's the triangular angle.
Mm-hmm. The triple angle, the blasphemy.
Oh, just imagine as Dagon comes up, a log drops into his mouth. And he goes, nah, I'm going home. I don't need this shit.
I like to think that thing, when it hits the water, it puts out like a sonar.
Yes. Yep.
And that's why Dagon's go, lunchtime.
It's something about it. When it goes into water, something about it changes.
Mm-hmm. You think about the weights on the feet. I think that's a pretty damn, not a cool idea, because that really gives the wrong idea about me. But it's a realistic idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do anything then.
No.
Legs are being weighed down unless you train this way in the gym. But I don't think many people in these kind of movies are like that kind of athletic. Usually they don't go to these horrible places.
Well, I'm wondering if the creators of this took some little cues from the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom for this. Yeah. Ignoring the fact that she's going to be well,
He got to fuck her.
she's going to be done in a few moments by a Lovecraftian abomination. This is like kind of similar to the sacrifice scene from Temple of Doom.
It's even got the same music, I suppose. Similar music.
Yeah, well, she's definitely got the look, the unblinking eyes 3 feet in front of her head.
Yeah.
Kind of a look of the High Priest.
You used fire. It's super effective.
Oh, shit, no, not gasoline. It's the fisherman's natural predator.
Vinegar, no. Oh, man. No, he's throwing chips at us. Ah.
Oh, that would be fantastic. The British solution.
You start eating fishmen.
I don't think that'd be a very smart idea, but yeah.
It depends what kind of fish they're turning into, I suppose. Pufferfish, no. Cod.
I feel that your stomach would do very strange things.
Well, it depends if you know what you're eating. Well, obviously you would do, but if it's just served to you on a plate, It's like if someone tells you halfway through a burger, you're eating a horse burger.
I mean, horse burger is preferable to mutated Cthulian bastard burger.
Again, they're gruff, to each their own. Would it be cannibalism at this point if you ate a
No,
man?
they're not human anymore.
So you would be allowed to eat... Well, I mean, there's
Allowed is a strong term.
Yeah.
Actually, isn't there a lot of rules in the wasn't it, the Old Testament type stuff? The if it comes from the sea and it doesn't have scales, it's like an abomination,
Mm-hmm.
and so you shouldn't eat it. So
Yes.
clearly, ancient Judaism knew of the things that live in the ocean, and in their texts, they're trying to give you some warnings against eating anything of a dubious kind of Lovecraftian nature.
I think that the lassie really does, Barbara does really a great job of just portraying the shit I've just seen you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, he's not a gentle lover. He really
Those
wants
eyes.
some...
It does look like it was less he did it and more just splurted in her general direction
Yeah.
with his black evil semen.
Well, that's all he got to at first. I mean, he was preparing. That was preparing for the main event.
Was it the CGI? Not great.
No. Really not very good, but
However,
Actually, it wasn't on screen for very long.
the
However-
prosthetic arms are cool.
leaving the arms there is a stroke of frickin' genius.
Yeah, like I say, not gentle. He really wants him some. He's desperate. He's loving it.
Well, where we're going to over the next few minutes as this film draws to a close is, I think, the biggest departure from the Lovecraftian style, apart from being kicked in the nuts by a fisherman with a stick in his head, is the biggest departure from the usual Lovecraftian style of storytelling.
Yeah.
Which we'll come to as it ends. Crawl, crawl, crawl. I love you. Fuck off.
I do. I would say right near the end as well. It does something that I'm not sure I agree with. The turn.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah.
There's a couple of interesting things yet to happen, but we'll definitely come to that. See, there we go. The foreshadowing. I think you still don't see the guy's face.
No, you see his creepy mask though.
His mask that appears to be made out of at least 3 people.
Yeah, because it looks human enough, I guess.
It'll do.
Oh yeah,
We've got 7 eyes. It's close enough.
he looks like the Wolfman.
Yeah.
Just a massive hair. Is it?
Some would say it's a mess, but it's completely meant to be because it's like 3 people with 3 beards.
There's a good couple of beards in there.
Yeah.
This is the thing I've had interest because it brings in the original ending for Shadow of Innsmouth.
Which was?
That the main character in Shadow of Innsmouth found himself to be descended from the Innsmouth crowd. And he was slowly becoming a fish person. Now, in the book, it was a long period of time. Every time he looked in the mirror, he saw himself being more and more fishy. Now, you could say that it could be that he thought of that because of everything he'd gone through and he was going a bit strange. And the family pictures that you were looking at, where he saw very fishy-looking people in his family history. That is what I was meaning before when I was talking about how Lovecraft was terrified of genetics. He was terrified of the idea of things of the sins of the father, for all wants and purposes. Oh! I'm the fly.
Yep.
It's not bad makeup, I would say.
I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, Dad.
Oh yeah, they're insane. They're fish people, and you're calling them insane. I think they're just fish people, to be fair.
See, Lovecraft was terrified of genetics. He was terrified of two things in genetics. He was terrified of genetics ruling him because both of his parents were institutionalized throughout his life. And he was terrified of that happening to him as well, him going that level of madness. He was also terrified of interbreeding, which we've discussed Lovecraft's mindset at great depth, and I'm not going to go into that too much. So these two things are what made this story happen, the original Shadow over Innsmouth, where this guy discovers that his genetics are coming back to haunt him. You're becoming a fishman, Nate.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. She wants to do him and their brother and sister as well. I mean, it's not the weirdest part of the story, but...
No. But it's the bit you can kind of see in real life, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I guess.
It's an incestuous horror.
That's it, mate.
It's the only way out.
You're winning the game the only way you can. It's the only solution.
I think we're coming up to the bit which I kind of went, I don't know, guys. Basically, once he hits the water.
Oh, terrible CGI again.
Yep.
Oh, I'm drowning. This is not as good as fire. This always made me wince.
Which part? What, the blood coming out of the gills?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, yeah. I mean, first, would he not be in shock?
Well, I think that kind of ties into what I was going to say here, where he just goes, this isn't too bad.
That's what I kind of wrote.
I always gathered that the blood was just like the final step, just like the final membrane being broken to make the gills be functional, breaking through to his lungs or whatever.
Because as we were saying before, we've got that radiation thing, the sort of radiation analogy, that I like to think that he's now underwater. He can now breathe underwater, and this is the final step. This is the part where his mind has broken. And he's just accepted it. But he's not accepted because he went, oh, okay, this isn't too bad. He's accepted because he's now freaking lost it. He's a calm pool on the other side of madness.
You don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
That's a better way than I took it, because when I first saw it, I just thought you went, oh, well, I'm a bit of a freak now if I go back up there. I mean, I'm all burnt and crispy, so why not?
So she ain't that bad a looker.
Apart from the tentacles.
Which will probably grow up her body as she gets older. I like that. The film dedicated to the memory of Francisco Rebel, a wonderful actor and better human being.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it. That was Dagon. So we shall get these thoughts off yourselves. And we'll start with Andy, because it's the first time that you've seen this.
Yeah. Well, no, second time.
Second time, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts of this film then?
Really good at building atmosphere. The set location was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. The makeup, again, was very good because they didn't focus on it. And they had the hero shots in a couple of places, like when he took off his the main squid cult leader dude, father person, took his human skinned mask off. You know, that was your hero shot, and that looked really good. But for the most part, they tried to not show it and let your imagination do the rest, which, as we discussed, is the best thing you can do, because the human mind is a greater tool than putting it on a film.
Oh, completely. Yeah. The reason that I think Lovecraft's very hard to do in film is because he doesn't quite describe anything.
Yeah, probably a lot of his stuff is indescribable, because it exists in a realm beyond what humans can comprehend and can label in a way that you can actually depict on screen. It's all very kind of ephemeral.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what makes it difficult to make as a film. But I think this really manages to get the balance right.
Yeah. I mean, it does suffer some issues just here and there, just because it is a low-budget movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it did very well for what it was. As long as you're not going in expecting this to be, you know, your your double A feature kind of thing.
I think it being a double A feature, especially made in 2001, would have ruined it.
Yeah.
I think
How would you qualify it? Would you say it's a... I'm not sure if it's a B movie. It's either B or C.
B plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, B plus, I think it sounds like a good way, but it had a limited theatrical release.
Oh, did it?
But it made most of its money on DVD.
I can see that. That makes sense. No, very enjoyable. I would say have a watch of it. One of the complaints I did read off Amazon was there's barely any gore in it, and I just shook my head and went, "You're that kind of horror."
Missing the point.
Yeah,
it's more the fact that he's that kind of person who likes that kind of horror, which isn't really horror. It's just gore.
Yeah, well, that's it. There is no point in this film which makes you sit and go, "Ugh." Yeah, you don't jump. There's no really monster class thing going on.
No, which is good because that's overdone in Hollywood.
Completely. But what there is atmosphere and unsettling. Things happen which make you feel unsettled, which I think is a much more powerful tool than, guys, he's got an arrow through the head.
Yeah.
Or the remake of Friday the 13th where kid gets a slab of concrete to his spine. It's funny. You can watch it and go, huh, but
it's not horror.
It's not horror, and it's not really entertaining.
No.
It's a bit of a laugh. That's about it. Jai, do you want to give us your thoughts on the film?
Well, considering its origins and what it's trying to do, it did an admirable job. The impression I get is it's almost like a kind of high class kind of student movie, if you like. I mean, they did a good job with the limited resources they must have had. And to be fair, I have a sneaky suspicion if it had the kind of budget that proper films have, it probably would have made it worse potentially. They could have probably got a bit too up themselves with all this flash money and spent it on things they really shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable enough. There were a few moments where I felt it was a bit slow. Me, even the first time I watched it, I did feel it in seeing it in the middle, if you like. I don't know where this is going, what's happening. It was all good. Visually, all looks fantastic. It's almost like if I was to try to equate this to a more mainstream or quote unquote mainstream kind of movie, I could almost say that maybe in tone it's somewhat like Hellraiser if you took it all the gore.
Yeah.
To be fair, there are some fair Lovecraft elements, or at least homages, or in the Hellraiser stuff, so that's not really surprising. If you're halfway interested in a decent Lovecraft movie, maybe not entirely accurate to its source material, but to be fair, I think its blending of a couple of different stories is maybe to its benefit, because I've got a suspicion that if you're trying to try and take a straight Lovecraft story and translate it onto the screen, the maybe wouldn't come off all that well. So I think doing a kind of blending to try and make it as movie friendly, I suppose, if you like, as you can, while keeping the same tone and the same soul, if you like, of the story, the intention and the feel. I think that's maybe the best compromise you can really have. Unless you're someone like Del Toro, who hopefully is going to have enough resources to do whatever the hell he wants.
Well, I think after Pacific Rim, he's just going to be able to go, right, we're freaking getting this done.
Oh, yeah. And to be fair, The Mountains of Madness is one of the more easily translatable stories, I would say, because there's less kind of ephemeral, cerebral kind of mindscape, universe, dreamscape type stuff going on. It's more grounded, if you like. It's almost more like
it's more adventurous. You can definitely get an adventure story out of that, whilst it's still the Lovecraftian thing. If you took something like Pickman's Model or something like that, you'd end up a film which is going to be a lot of talking heads, people just sitting in a room talking to each other, which is going to be a bit more difficult to do. I think Mountains of Madness is probably the best one, and I do think Call of Cthulhu could be translated into a high-budget Hollywood horror film.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to change the style of the story a little bit, but I think it could work very well.
I think we said that last week, not last week, but last time we did this as well, that it would be easy enough to do a full-on movie with it.
Oh, completely. As I say, as Jai said, actually, the film isn't perfect. No, there are some issues in there, mostly the lack of budget when it comes to the CGI. Because even in 2001, that was terrible goddamn CGI. But the film has got a lot of respect and appreciation for what the original story is. And that comes through really nicely. Stuart Gordon has always been a very Lovecraftian director. He's always seemed to want to get Lovecraft films made. This one's actually been kicking around since the 80s. They've been trying to get Dagon made since the late 80s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took a long, long time for this one to get made, which is a bit of a shame. And I do think it gets the feel of Lovecraft perfect, or at least as close to perfect as is possible. I think with the way that filmmaking has changed over the last 5 to 10 years, it is now possible to do a Lovecraftian film properly in Hollywood. And I hope that will be the case. I love this film. It's as simple as that. I think this film is fantastic. I do feel that without the wonderful craggy-faced tramp man, it would probably lose a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because he's really the linchpin. I think he kind of exists in the roadmap of this movie. He exists at the crossroads, at the in the middle, to kind of signpost you as to what's happened before, what's going on. And he kind of takes you onto the next part of the story if you like.
Yeah, yes,
So, yeah.
Yeah, he's the exposition man, and he's a very good exposition man.
And unfortunately, we completely missed out what is one of my favourite scenes of the film when it was happening. There is a wonderful little exchange between Uxia and Paul, which is, Uxie says, "Before you came, there'd been no sacrifices for a year. Dagon needs her." Paul's response, "Fuck Dagon." Uxia, "Yes, and their child will be immortal."
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a catch. It has to live the rest of its life as some kind of half-assed fish of the sea. Yes, enjoy with Dagon. That's what I was meaning before about they get humour out of the situation. This misunderstanding, because these people are not people anymore. They don't think like normal people. And I think even though that is quite a funny sequence, it gives you the idea of just how alien these people are now. And it's stuff like that.
I couldn't find that funny when I watched it the first time. I found that as deeply disturbing. In an entertainment way, we've gone, oh man, that's...
Yeah.
Ow.
So I like the idea that she's just so far gone down this this path that the entire town's now on, that she just doesn't understand what he's trying to say. Yeah. Fuck Dagon. Yep. She will.
I did have another thought when I was watching it, like, maybe these people are really happy about it. Maybe it's not so bad down there.
Well, for them, they've accepted what's going on and they just carry on as they are. You know, they're living their lives.
Yeah.
You know, being fishy and slaty and...
It's like when people say you should try this movie and you're like, oh, I mean, I've heard all this bad stuff, but my friends like this. I should probably give it a try. I think, you should probably give it a try.
Yeah, definitely give it a try.
Yeah. All right, then. Well, we shall draw this to a close. Thank you very much, Joy. Do you want to throw out things for people to be able to find you and pester you with conversations about Lovecraftian toys?
No, I wish there was more Lovecraftian toys. I do wish there were more of them.
Especially more of them for reasonable prices. Because all the old ones are stupid expensive now.
Anyway, you can find me as a kind of semi-regular co-host in Back to the 80s, available on the Nerd Sphere, which I'm guessing you'll probably find this as well. You can also find me on Twitter at JIIDEE. So hopefully I'm kind of hoping I'll get another one of these, at least. It's an interesting project. There's a lot. I'll be honest, there's a lot of Lovecraft media that I haven't a lot seen. Mm-hmm. I think it'd be a good excuse to try and get some in.
Well, I definitely want to get you in for some of the stranger medias. Definitely want to have you in for the Ghostbusters episodes that we'll be doing.
Make him do doing with horror.
Oh no, Andy, that's for you and you alone.
Yeah,
that's just to be you sitting by yourself.
Oh God,
I don't want to watch that again. Jesus, but it's all right. You still got House of Cthulhu to go.
I don't know if that. It's not that I don't believe you, but it's really hard to believe it. It can be worse than that.
Oh, it's worse.
As long as I think it's because I'm was more insulted by the editing. I'm hoping that editing from this point on, even if the movie's tat, the editing's fine. I can at least go, well, at least it's better than Too Much Horror, which we'll talk about, I'm sure.
Oh, we're going to get to that.
My nightmare comes true.
Yeah. Right, well, with that, we're going to draw this to a close. Thank you very much. Actually, before we go, Andy, do you want to throw your details out for people?
Yeah, sure. You can find me on the Moonbase 2 podcast, which is on Full Metal Hero. And I am on Twitter at CCTFW, all in capitals, and I'm on YouTube at Cobra Commander TFW. I do not live in Imboka, though.
Imboka.
Imboka.
You're not old man, old tramp. I've gone Russian again there.
With my
That's what I'm saying. This movie would have worked really well in Russia.
Yeah.
In Soviet Russia. Fish fucks you.
We're not going to get any better from that. Goodbye, everybody. If I were a deep one.